So currently I'm the Vice President of Carmel High School's robotics team, the Tech Hounds. Outside of school, I'm on the First Indiana Student Board of Directors, a group of students tasked with advocating for state legislature to give money to robotics programs and robotics teams around the state. I'm also part of Carmel Mayor's Youth Council.
At Carmel, I'm involved in a lot of CS clubs, so CSHS, I'm the co-president, and then Cyber Patriot, which is a cybersecurity competition, I'm on Team 1, so like the most advanced team.
I'm the president and founder of the Future Lawyers of America Club, and then I'm also the PR officer of the mock trial team here.
Within CHS, the leadership roles I'm involved in is co-president of Econ Club, president of Women in Business, co-president of Finance Education, and president of Fencing Club.
So I would say one thing that I definitely face on the daily is just kind of the respect and people respecting not only your position but also your ideas, and constantly having to defend everything that you're doing, whether that be at Tech Hounds, something that we're building or I chose a certain design, having to defend that more than say a male team member would. Definitely in some of the other positions I'm in, such as like advocating to state legislature, sometimes it takes more force to really like get something across than say if another person were.
It's really hard to make myself heard sometimes in a room where it's just full of guys sometimes, and I don't look like anyone in there. I don't really have the same experiences as anyone in there, but also just being that one person in the room that doesn't really look like or like have the same experiences as anyone else.
I think at least the biggest struggle for me is just feeling worthy of the role that I'm given, because a lot of the spaces that I'm in as someone who's interested in law is definitely male dominated, and so most of the struggle for me is just making sure that like I know that I am worthy of this role that I have been like working toward.
I think just in general, like your opinions aren't like carried with as much weight. Your attitude has like a lot more impact on the way that people perceive you. If you're slightly more direct, then you can be seen as aggressive, whereas like perhaps your male counterpart would have just been seen as like confident. So I think dealing with that dynamic has definitely been difficult, and proving myself within those spaces and overcoming people underestimating me has been difficult, but it's been like, a worthwhile challenge, and I'm glad that I can help teach like, younger women how to overcome challenges like that through Women in Business.
I've shared this with some of my students, but when I came out of college in the early 90s, I was working in an investment banking firm in downtown Chicago, and there were 60 brokers in my office, and there were only 2 females, myself and my roommate. And so back then, I could see that there just weren't as many openings for females as I see today. And I still think in some areas, look at President of the United States. I think a woman is fully capable of that job, but I think that there's still some false stereotypes out there, and I think that there are still a number of people in this country who would not vote for a female as the President of the United States, and I think that's unfortunate. And so I do think females continue to face some unfair stereotypes as they try to move into leadership positions. Another example, the chair of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, which I would say is maybe the second most powerful position in the United States after the president. We've only had one female member of the Board of Governors, Janet Yellen. And so I still think that we are behind, and definitely behind some other countries, because I don't think that all other countries are facing the same thing in terms of putting women in certain positions of power. But I do see that as gradually changing, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
I think that every woman, whether you're talking to somebody on the robotics team, just somebody walking around the high school, and honestly in any field of work, would tell you, yes, there still is discrimination that is existing because of gender. And I think that ways to improve that are quite difficult just because these ideals have been so forcefully ingrained in our society from the 1800s. And I think the only ways that we can really keep working to improve this is constantly, again, just having those role models, kind of really like blasting, hey, these women are doing really amazing things. And I think it also comes from like the higher ups in positions really giving light to those women who are working really hard and who are accomplishing great things, and really just making sure that everything women are doing is really just broadcasted to the world.
Yeah, I definitely think all our clubs here are a great start. So Carmel, I think, does a really good job of this. We have a bunch of clubs. Like I actually run Girls Who Code too, but there's like women in cybersecurity I know, and a lot of female empowerment clubs here. So I think that's the first step, just garnering enough interest that like women can come together and form these amazing clubs. But also I think, yeah, like teachers and like school staff can also work towards encouraging females in their classes to pursue these clubs maybe, and also extracurricular opportunities. And I think, yeah, it takes a lot of people to build this supportive environment where women can thrive.
For sure, I think there's always going to be some kind of discrimination against women in society, just because it's such like an ingrained like issue that we've always had to struggle with. But I think to sort of combat that, we need to like realize, first of all, that it's there, and then second of all, just try to find ways to work with one another and really like tackle that issue. Because just realizing that it's there, that's like the first step, and then just trying to uplift the women in the spaces, like work together with each other and just make sure that, you know, we're there for each other. And then I think just working toward a common goal as women, I think it's really like powerful when we all work together, and I think we can do great things together.
I think that the first step is recognizing that there is a disparity, and then creating opportunities for specifically women to like thrive in those fields, like perhaps having more grants and more scholarships within like college application for women in business, women in STEM. And I think just in general, like recognizing that it is an issue, addressing it and involving this like within our core curriculum, that like everybody is equal, everybody is like the same amount of intelligent, and like you can't take opportunities away because somebody like doesn't look like you or something like that.
I'm proud to be a female leader because honestly, just because I think it's does so much for the people who are younger than me and who I'm a role model for. So every time I teach someone or I help someone through a difficult problem, or even just code myself, I just feel like I'm helping a younger version of myself, like someone who had experience like being the only female in the room, or someone who was surrounded by men all the time in her CS classes. I feel like it's just going back to a younger version of me who wanted me to be me now, to be a strong and powerful leader. And I think that's something I've tried to achieve in every way. And I think, yeah, I think just leaders in general are so important for motivating and impacting the younger generation, which is truly something that we need to work more on.
I am proud to be a female leader because I think it's just amazing to have as much women representation in leadership roles as possible, because I don't think there's enough women in leadership roles, and like as many women as we can get, I think that's just better for like literally any club, any society, because like we are just a powerful force, and I think it's very uplifting to have in like really any group or club.
I'm proud to be a woman for so many incredible ways. I think that the way that women present ourselves and the community that any woman has just with being a woman by virtue is, you know, that you can walk up to any female and ask for help or ask for something, and you know that they will try to help you with 110% of their effort. And I think that inherent ability to give and to help and to want to support others is what makes females so incredibly amazing. And I think that like the reason that more females should kind of like pursue STEM and pursue these male-dominated fields is because the only way that not only we can improve current technology existing and really make strides is having more of those ideas, and to have more ideas and to have a wider like bank of ideas to pull from is having more points of view. And I think that women offer an incredible point of view on so many topics, maybe different than what males have to offer, and I think that that is so valuable. And also just different skill sets. I mean, like I mentioned before, the amount of detail that women are capable of really harnessing and really focusing on, I think that that could be very valuable everywhere in the world.